Rev up your engines. Got an 81 Land Cruiser. They were once regular Jeep-sized vehicles. And look at this one. It looks like it just came off the showroom floor. And if you want to buy it, guess what? It's for sale. It's not oversized. Now, granted, it's got a longer wheelbase than a classic Willys Jeep. That longer wheelbase makes it ride better. This does not ride as bumpy as they do. Check under the hood. Big old straight cylinder, 4.2 liter engine. And for fuel system, it's got a carburetor. Very simple, reliable design. Just realize it is an actual Jeep. The Japanese were copying Jeep pretty much after World War II, and they got sued by Jeep, by Willys Overland. They couldn't use the name Jeep, so they came up with the name Land Cruiser. Not that bad of an idea, considering how the Japanese often have weird names. They gave it a solid name. Now, yes, it's a real Jeepy vehicle. All-wheel drive, carbureted with a 6-cylinder engine. Now, you're lucky if you're going to get 13 miles a gallon in this thing. This isn't about gas mileage. It isn't about speed. It's like the original Willys for going off-road, and basically they were used as military vehicles in the beginning. Back in the day, they built stuff solid. Look at this radiator. It's very thick. A modern radiator is about this thick. He cleaned out this old one and it still works perfectly fine. Warning, warning, don't try this with plastic radiators. Throw them away and buy another one and realize even in the 1980s, Mercedes-Benz started using plastic radiators. That's just this carburetor, doesn't have all that computer crap on it. Let's say the fuel pump goes out. Is it an electric pump in the gas tank? No, of course not. Fuel pump right down there. It's a mechanical pump. You can even buy these things today at AutoZone. After all, these engines are basically Chevy designed engines. Believe it or not, you can actually fit a Chevy fuel pump on this thing. Which remind me of a friend of mine way back decades ago. He had a Kawasaki 650 twin motorcycle. Kawasaki had copied a 650 BSA motorcycle, nut for bolt. He has a sense of humor too. He got himself a BSA gas tank, and he put the BSA gas tank on the 650 Kawasaki. He took it to a motorcycle show, and he won Best in Show for British Motorcycle. But it was a Kawasaki. They copied it entirely, nut for nut, bolt for bolt. But in this case, Chevy actually never made any Jeeps. They just took a good solid engine and put it in a Toyota product. It's actually extremely superior to a Willys Jeep. Do you have to deal with old technology? No, you can modernize them like he did. You don't like cloddy old drum brakes? They pull when they get wet and have problems? Well, no stinking drums on this thing. This has been converted to discs in the front. All-wheel drive with the hubs. The back still got drums on it. And who cares? This isn't a race car. The only reason this thing even needs rear brakes is so that it'll stop straight. If it didn't have brakes on the back, it'd skid. So you don't care. It's the front ones that do 90-something% of the braking. And these have been switched over to discs, superior to even the original Toyota design. Now you might say, Scotty, I've never seen one of these before. Well, that's because they weren't sold in the United States. This was imported. As we look inside, check out the speedometer. It's in kilometers per hour, and this baby's only got 358 miles on it. Which just goes to show what I've always said. Don't believe the mileage on an old car speedometer. He admitted that it had 385,000 kilometers on it when he bought it, and he put a new dash on it. He's not trying to pull a fast one. And it's got a nice 4-speed transmission with the transfer case for super low crawling gear, high speed 4 and high speed 2. And it even tells you when you should use it. They're not messing around here. You might think, what good is a tiny little Jeep? Check out this baby. It's like a military vehicle. You got racks that you can fit people in. There's lots of room back here. And of course, it is a real Jeep vehicle. You can flip it down and take the top off, and you can put the windshield down too. Now he's gone chrome wild on this thing. It's really nice looking. Like I said, look at the room inside the back here. You can have your own small army in this thing. You're gonna have a hard time finding one that's in the shape this thing is in. So let's take it for a ride. There we go. This is a real Jeep vehicle. Listen to that engine. You're high up in the air, and yeah, you feel the road somewhat, but truthfully, it rides a lot better than the Willys Jeeps. The suspension's better, the long wheelbase. It's not like you're going through a washer and dryer tumble. Now we got it going down a highway here. We're really flying. Check out that speedometer. And really, it's not a bad ride for a Jeep. And you listen closely, Do you hear worn out bearings? No. What do you hear in the engine? Just smooth. The transmission's smooth. You think Toyota makes good vehicles today? Their old ones were mechanical, even more reliable and long-lasting. And as we check in the back, do you hear a howling rear end? It's not making any noise. Somebody must have rebuilt this stuff, but still, that old, you can still rebuild them and it can run this good. Try finding something like this today. So if you're ever thinking about getting yourself a real Jeep vehicle, one that doesn't break down, might want to get one of these old Land Cruisers. Like I say, this one's for sale. The world's going to be bidding on it, so you join in if you want. If you can find an old one to fix up, don't think you can't get parts for them. Not a problem at all. But they can truthfully last forever. But if you're lazy and you got a lot of money, put your bid out on this one. I'd buy it, but my wife would kill me. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Yes, Jeswa says, Scotty, what about a mid-2000 Porsche Boxster? How reliable? Do you recommend any sporty car under 15K? Okay, you want a Porsche Boxster for 15K or under? You get yourself a nice lawn ornament. They are beautiful cars. I had a customer buy one used like that. I brought it to my wife. I said, look at this. Oh, she says, what a beautiful car. I said, well, you know, it's a Porsche. And she says, ooh, the lawyers I used to work for, they drive like go-karts. I hate those things. She didn't like the way it rode anyways. Then things started to break. And I looked on my all data system, which I use for information. I looked up if the entire lighting system broke, the headlights, tail lights, the switches, and they're all run by computers. To replace all those parts was going to be like $9,000. The headlights were thousands. Even the switch was like $385. You can turn it on and off. The on-off switch had like 16 wires going to it. I mean, and it tells you, over-engineered, right? Don't buy a Porsche. You want to get a fun sports car, get yourself a Mustang, or if you don't mind smaller, get a Mazda Miata. They're quick, fun things. But Porsches are endless money pits, and you buy one that's 20 years old, you're asking for trouble. Now Adam says, Scotty, what do you think about buying a new LC500 this year? Well, I'd never buy one because I'm too cheap. They're nice cars, but man, those things are so expensive. I wait till they're 8, 10, 15 years old and then buy them and save a whole bunch of money. Take my wife's. Her Lexus, the list price was $36,000. I bought it when it was like 10 years old with 65,000 miles for $3,000. I saved, $30-something thousand dollars, and the car still probably has at least 80% of its life left. So, boy, what a fantastic deal. I'll never buy a new one. I'm too cheap. I mean, I've got the money to buy them, but why should I waste my money? I get a good used one, and they ride quite well. I would never buy a new one. It's too much money. But if you don't care about money and you want to buy one, yeah, they're fun to buy. They're a lot of money, though. Cool Pigzar says, Scotty, I know you're not a fan of GM. What do you think of a used 2015 C7 Corvette with 22,000 miles for 45K? Well, it's 6 years old. I don't think I'd pay 45K or come even close to that because I'm cheap. But those are fun cars, and a lot of guys buy them, and they like riding them around. They're their babies. I mean, I think 6 years old, it's only got 22,000 miles, so you didn't drive it all that much, right? If it's a middle-aged or an older guy, and a mechanic like me checks it out, says it's okay, and you don't mind the price, go ahead. It's your money. Do whatever you want. They are decent cars. Now, if it's a young kid, forget it. He's probably beating the heck out of the thing. But there's lots of used ones out there that people don't drive much. There's no way I'd pay 45 grand, but you take your pick on that. It's a 2015. It's not a particular collector's item or anything, so don't think that it's going to really go up in value. Recently, the only ones that are going to go up in value are the mid-engine ones, because the mid-engine ones, they just started making them, and they don't make that many of them, so, they'll probably have a decent resale value. One like that, that's way overpriced. GPT-3 says 80 Corvettes were crap. Handled like a 58 Buick. Well, actually, a 58 Buick handled better. Corvettes in the 80s, they got big engines, but of course, the engine weight is in the front, and the rear wheels are the drive wheels, and those things just spin out like mad. Their handling was horrendous if you drove really fast, where a 58 Buick, it didn't have the power to spin it around like that. It was actually, in some respects, it could handle better. Now, if you had it set up right and you knew how to drive, yeah, you could have fun with the Corvette, but they weren't any fantastic technology, and as they're made in the 80s, you get one now, generally, they're all worn out, and they do ride like crap, even if you put them back to their original specs, with new parts, of course. USAF, Dozer Pilot says, do you have any opinions, experience with Ford's new 7.3 Godzilla V8? I'm looking to buy one. I know it hasn't been around long, but I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. From my experience, it's an excellent engine. It's a pushrod engine. It's not crazy high technology, all this crazy GDI technology and throwing a bunch of turbochargers. It's a big, strong, powerful engine. It'll probably last a really long time. If you want a vehicle that's that big with a big engine like that, and you want a lot of power, it should be a really very good deal. Now, realize, you know, any engine that size is pretty much a gas hog. You're not going to get good gas mileage. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.